There are forces at work on the hearts of men, and we are, all of us, on a continuum.
Music in so many words, perspectives on recent premieres of my music, and the interesting artists behind the performances. Continuum for soprano, violin, and 2 guitars was commissioned by guitarist Rob Nathanson and was premiered at the New Music Festival in Wilmington, North Carolina in March of 2023. The Carolina Chamber Players then performed the European premiere in Vienna, Austria, May of 2023. It's a setting of the poem Continuum by poet and songwriter Tim Eddy. The poem is published in a collection of poems in his book entitled I Only Asked for Blue. At the time, I was looking for a text that really spoke about this profound sense of betrayal that I have been feeling lately about the world we live in. I was drawn to Tim's ability to disguise poignant truths in sublime revelation as seemingly ordinary conversation that communicates directly without unnecessary embellishment. I visited Tim at his farm in rural Wisconsin to talk about the poem and how he got started in writing.
I think I started writing poetry and songs possibly as a way of self-healing. Had a couple of events in my life that had a very close friend that died at an early age. And I think in the years after that, I took to writing down some of my thoughts, and that eventually led to an almost daily practice of writing something.
And I wondered what he thought the poem was about.
It's about the one thing that every citizen of the world should learn in school, that it's easy to hate. And there are, for some reason, people who feed that. We are always somewhere between love and hate, between peace and genocide, and being pulled one way or the other. Each nation, tribe, town, and heart.
One way or the other. One way or the other, being pulled one way or the other, each nation, tribe, town, and
heart. It's a reference to the Holocaust, but it's also a reference to all of the Holocausts. I grew up knowing about the Holocaust. I used to think that was a one-off aberration of history, and that's not true. We are, all of us, every day, on a continuum between love and hate. how is it that people who one might consider to be good people massacring women and children at Wounded Knee? You know, how did that happen? What happened to their hearts that they did that? And what's the difference between that soldier in the U.S. Cavalry then and the soldier in the Third Reich and me? And it's being aware of what you're being told and what anger has you've been fed.
Forces cowardly and insidious, like the very orphaned.
You know, so it's dangerous when politicians and others start describing the other and, you know, dehumanizing fellow human beings.
And the anger that we eat.
So that's what it's about.
Indeed, there is so much imagery suggested in Tim's poem that fueled my imagination, including the final images of the woman with the violin.
The other side, what is our hope? You know, how do we change the hearts of men? You know, what is our answer to, you know, the moneyed interests? Like, you know, apparently there's money in fomenting hate. There's television networks devoted to it. So what is our counter to that? You know, certainly it's understanding and education, and you know, but sometimes it seems like argument doesn't reach people. But I also believe that there's a divine connection to music, and that somehow a just and caring God is attempting to talk to us through music.
Tim's idyllic vision specifically inspired the music that I composed for violinist Livia Sellin of the Carolina Chamber Players. Her performance truly captures the hearts and minds of the audience, with her final notes floating over soprano Nancy King's concluding phrase, colored by the final chords executed by guitarist Rob Nathanson and Helmut Jaspar, offering the promise of resolution and redemption.
And yet, there, on the side of love, stands the undaunted heart of a woman with a violin.